The Chief Justice of India, B.R. Gawai, has promised to look into an issue that has emerged with the contentious Supreme Court order issued 3 days ago, where the Apex Court ordered authorities in the national capital to effectively forget the rules and round up all stray dogs in Delhi within 8 weeks. Now, while hearing petitions today, the Chief Justice was also told about a Supreme Court judgment from 2024 about the treatment of stray dogs, where Justices J.K. Maheshwari and Sanjay Karol had stated that there cannot be indiscriminate killings and detention of canines, and that authorities have to take action in terms of the legislation. This sets the ground for a clash of judgments, and now the Chief Justice has promised to look into the matter. We're going to start our conversation on the telecast. With me are my panelists. I have with me Dr. Vijay Pathak. Vijay Pathak is a veterinary surgeon. Dr. Pathak, what is this a blanket solution to the menace of stray dogs that wander on our streets? There have been a number of instances that have only been increasing of stray bites, number of deaths, very gruesome injuries that people have faced because of these dog bites and attacks by stray dogs. But taking all the strays on the streets and putting them in shelters is going to be a one-stop solution? Saurabh Gupta is also on the telecast with me. Saurabh Gupta is officer at the People for Animals. Saurabh Gupta, what is your reaction to the Supreme Court Chief Justice's remarks that now he is going to look into the matter and there is likelihood of him intervening in the Supreme Court's earlier judgment?
देखिए जी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जो पहले के जजमेंट हैं वो सभी इस फेवर में है कि डॉग्स की स्टेरिलाइजेशन हो, उनकी नसबंदी और वैक्सीनेशन हो पाए प्रॉपर तरीके से, और जहां से उनको उठाया जाए, जो उनकी टेरिटरी है, उसी टेरिटरी में उनको वापस से रिलीज कर दिया जाए। उनको भी जीने का अधिकार है। और ये एबीसी रूल जो है वो भी कहता है एनिमल बर्थ कंट्रोल रूल, और हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का जो आर्टिकल 51 एजी है, वो भी इसी चीज की तरफ हमको प्रेरित करता है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा जो कम्युनिटी डॉग्स हैं उनका लालन पोषण हो सके, उनको खाना डाला जा सके, उनके संग किसी भी तरह की क्रूरता ना हो। और इसी चीज के ऊपर हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। हालांकि हम ये मानते हैं कि स्टेरिलाइजेशन और वैक्सीनेशन जिस तरीके से होना चाहिए था उस तरीके से नहीं हुआ, लेकिन इसके अंदर डॉग्स की तो कोई गलती नहीं है, इसके अंदर किसी एनजीओ की या एनिमल लवर्स की तो इसके अंदर कोई गलती नहीं है। अगर इसके अंदर गलती है तो उन भ्रष्ट अधिकारियों की है जिन्होंने अपने रिश्तेदारों को टेंडर दिलवाए और स्टेरिलाइजेशन नहीं हुआ। अब देखिए केंद्र सरकार का ही आंकड़ा है।
No, but sterilization तो एक बात है ना, you sterilize the dogs and do you let them then stray on the streets? Do you think sterilization is going to reduce the incidence or completely end halt the instances of dog bites, of dog attacks on humans?
देखिए, जब आप स्टेरिलाइजेशन कर देते हैं तो 70% तक डॉग का काटना और भौंकना कम हो जाता है। ये मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं, ये आंकड़े बताते हैं, ये एक्सपर्ट्स बताते हैं, ये डॉक्टर्स बताते हैं, इवन ये प्रैक्टिकल है। जब डॉग्स जो है वो मेटिंग सीजन में होते हैं या फीमेल डॉग्स जिनके बच्चे होते हैं वो उस समय एग्रेशन की मुद्रा में जरूर होते हैं, लेकिन जब उनके बच्चे नहीं होते, डॉग्स हीट पर नहीं आते, तो बिल्कुल भी इस तरह डॉग्स का एग्रेशन बिल्कुल खत्म हो जाता है। वहीं आप वैक्सीनेशन कर दीजिए जिसके बाद रेबीज नहीं होगा। आप पूरी तरह से रेबीज और स्टेरिलाइजेशन अगर कर दें तो ये सारी समस्या खत्म हो जाएगी।
Okay, all right. I'm going to also get a direct perspective. Let's get a legal perspective on things over here. Ashwini Dubey is on the telecast with me. Ashwini, again, how do you view the intervention that has now been made by the Chief Justice of India over the earlier ruling of the Supreme Court? What does this indicate? Do you think he may, is there a possibility, is this an indication that he may overrule the last ruling of the Supreme Court that was made just 3 days ago?
Mega, yes, Honorable Chief Justice of India, being the master of the roster, has a full authority to constitute a bench if there are conflicting judgments and conflicting views. But Mega, very candidly, I would say there is no conflicting view. Why? Sending the dogs to the shelter home, nowhere prohibited. It is lying in the municipal laws. Now, very rightly, there is one judgment was referred by Honorable Justice Maheshwari, Honorable Justice Sanjay Karol, that says that cruelty should not be committed with the dogs. Where this sending them, picking them and sending to the shelter homes, where they will be properly looked into, where there is a problem, this is one. Point two, the order passed by Honorable Justice Paradiwala 3 days back, that was based on the growing incidents of dog menace, dog bite, and there was no preventive measures. So that is why Honorable Court said, look, within 8 months you have to comply. Number three, the arguments which is being made saying that 10,000 crore rupees be spent, where from this money will come. This is the complete job of the exchequer. This is the complete job of the state authorities and municipality to look into that how they will comply with the Supreme Court order. If Supreme Court order is not complied with, they either face the contempt of court, either they will seek the extension. Point three, prevention and cruelty to the animals is a different thing. But cruelty to humanity is a different thing. And now a growing trend has emerged that these dog lovers, I should say so-called dog lovers, treats the humans worse than the dogs.
Okay.
Have you seen the videos?
Okay.
Have you seen them? Yes, Megha, over to you.
Okay. Okay, all right. I have with me Amit Agarwal. He is the project in charge of Urja. Amit, tell us more about Urja and more particularly how concerned are you about the Supreme Court order, and how do you react to the Supreme Court Chief Justice's intervention in it all?
I feel the balanced view has to be taken as by the courts in previous orders and in current order also. And I am of the view that most of the are of view that we are not against dog. We are not against dog violence or anything. We are interested that any aggressive dog should be treated. If it is attacking the people, it should be sent back to some center, like we are sending our thieves, criminals. Why we are differentiating the criminals among people and dogs which are aggressive? Both are equal. Their family member may be arguing for their deers. Similarly, dog lovers are arguing for their dear dogs. But government and policymaker has to see balanced view, and they have to create some sort of safety measures and confidence in public.
Okay, all right. I'm going to bring in Sonali Chopra into the conversation as well. Sonali, why do you see so much unhappiness among certain section of the people today over the Supreme Court's order? What is wrong in sterilizing dogs and putting them in dog shelters?
I am a member of the society who is also very unhappy with this decision. The unhappiness is solely attributable to maybe two reasons to begin with. One, that we were not given a hearing. We were just not heard. That is absolutely against the basic principle of natural justice. If there is a set of people, the cause of the animals cannot come forward and speak for their cause. At least let the people who are speaking for that cause be heard. Decide after hearing us. That is number one. And number two, when there is an absolutely well-designed, well-thought-out scientific legislation, which is the animal birth control rules, which were revised as recently as in 2023, why not we run after the implementation of that? Why don't we curse the systematic failure of the implementation of the ABC? Pull up the municipalities for that. Ask for the budget. Where was the budget that was allotted for the ABC implementation? Where did that budget go? And that is the issue, that when there is an absolutely proper legislation still in force, why is that being ignored? Why is nobody being pulled up for the non-implementation of that policy? These are the two main reasons why we feel
again the same question. Like, is there a concern, and if there is, why is it that these strays cannot be put in dog shelters?
The amount of infrastructure that is required to run a proper and safe dog shelter does not exist today. It does not. Let alone for 500 dogs. We are talking about 5,000. There's not even enough space for 500 dogs. And
But
when
there's
there is
somewhere
no
to start.
infrastructure,
There has to be a place that you start. And I'm sorry to say,
And the
but then
start-
but the fact that when you are entering into your locality, your society, and if you see a dozen of dogs who are just sitting on the pavements and in the middle of the streets, there are people who feed these dogs morning, evening, night, and they refuse to budge from their places, and have been several times often spotted barking in the middle of the night. Oftentimes even caught biting an individual. God forbid, there's if a car or a bike or any vehicle just tramples upon them by mistake, because they just completely spread themselves on the streets. That's what I'm saying, that therefore there has to be a bigger solution. Sterilization and vaccination cannot be the solutions. Ashwini, I'm going to come to you. Now, where does the case go from here? The contention Sonali is at this point of time making is that there are not enough dog shelters. We do not have the space. We do not have the infrastructure to accommodate these many dogs.
The infrastructure, Megha, can't be the infrastructure be made. It will take time. If there is a roadmap, a plan is submitted to the court saying that we have planned on to make these shelter homes at these locations, and we need some time. Court will definitely genuine concern and consider it. Now, why there is a need to have a shelter home? Sending dogs in a shelter home is required not for the benefit, but it is larger benefit of the dogs. Why? There is a critical need for small animal shelters to provide safe haven for these vulnerable creatures. So, if they are located at one place in a shelter home, there would be proper mechanism to look into them. If there are any problems to those dogs, then doctors or other caretakers would be there. Here what happens, in the night, midnight, Megha, you must have seen, midnight somebody comes taking a food in the polythene and drop in between the house, in between the resident welfare association, feed them in the middle of the road, ignoring that tomorrow morning at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, people like us and you and me will go out, and there is a chances that we may bite. Dogs can attack us, and which is a growing is concern.
And it's not the fault of the dog. He is not in his natural habitat. He at this point of time does not have a home to stay. He's reliant on the people in the locality, in the neighborhood, to provide him food. There's not even allocation of a place on the street or wherever they provide him food and water to eat food, to drink water, and then to top of these becomes an environment where the animal is going to become aggressive. Because what if somebody just steps onto him by mistake and he's going to lash out? What if a car just tramples on it because there's no space, because there's so many of them? And of course you're going to retaliate. Of course that's going to happen. That's not the animal's fault. It's just because we do not have a proper system in place to ensure that the canines, the animals in our locality, in our state, in our region, in our city are looked after, that this menace continues to go on. I don't know why there is so much criticism that has I don't know, there's a certain section of the society who continues to feel that this order of the Supreme Court is not benevolent, is not supportive, it's not sympathetic to dogs and to dog lovers. Anyway, coming back to you, Sonali, so what do you expect now in terms of the Supreme Court Chief Justice now interceding in the matter?
He has given us hope. The fact that at 4 p.m. another mentioning was made and he has said he is looking into it, we are very hopeful for something to be done, either as Mr. Dubey said, a larger bench being constituted to actually hear the matter as a whole and pass a judgment once and for all, or for any other directions that he may pass. But I know that all us animal welfare people are extremely hopeful at the statement that has been made in the Supreme Court today.
Okay, and then
I want
what
to
is
suggest-
expected? What is expected from the judgment after a new bench is constituted? What is the hope and the expectation?
Like you said, that we need a system, and again I say at this cost of repetition, there is a system. The ABC rules 2023 lay down the entire system. So what we hope is the actual proper implementation of that system, which has already been put in place. It just needs to, so people need to be pulled up, the municipalities need to be put into action to actually implement the scientific system already laid down.
Sorry, I do not know. I'm a lay. I do not know what is the system that is already in place. Is the system that there is money that is allocated to municipalities, to the localities, to the RWAs? I don't know, to vaccinate people, or is it to sterilize these animals? Is there also a system in place to put these canines and other strays in shelter homes? What is the system?
Each ward, each municipality per ward has been allotted certain monies. This is all information we've taken out through RTI for sterilization, vaccination, opening ABC centers, and actually implementing the ABC laws, which say every dog, a community dog, needs to be picked up by the MCD, vaccinated, sterilized, and released back into the in its territory. An animal shelter as defined in the ABC rule says a place where these animals will be kept while they are injured or being treated or being sterilized. And then they are supposed to be released back in their territory. That is what is written in the ABC rules, and every ward, the municipality has been given a ward-wise budget.
Okay.
And the question
Fair
is,
enough.
where
But
has
then
that budget
again,
gone?
my question, I mean, it remains that when you have dozens and dozens of dogs in your locality, how are you going to be able to control their population? And besides that, how are you going to manage them when they do not have their home, when they don't have shelter to stay in, live in, sleep in, they don't have a designated place to eat? How are you going to manage? And for that matter, what is the why should people living in their homes in the locality be bearing the cost of the strays moving around that are an inconvenience and practical inconvenience that I just pointed out?
The ABC rules even provide for the fact that every RWA needs to make designated feeding areas. I don't know of a single RWA today that has actually read the rules and actually implemented it. There is something called designated feeding areas.
I disagree. Our RWA implemented, but these dog lovers under the Supreme Court order harass the RWA members and they feed the dogs in front of their homes.
So I have a question for you at this time. Did you take any
never listen
information?
to us.
Did you take any information from these animal lovers about where these designated feeding areas should have been made?
Mega, in my RWA also where I live, there is a designated place, but these dog lovers, I'm very sorry to say, these dog lovers come and they feed in between the middle of the road.
Let me please say, did any RWA take the feedback of any of these feeders before designating these feeding areas? All dogs are territorial. We will tell you where these areas have to be and what set of dogs will eat at which area without there being an interstate dispute between these groups of dogs.
Again, the question, why is it so difficult to imagine and accept the fact that the strays will be happier, living in cleaner areas, environments, will have a place to sleep in, will have food delivered to them, offered to them at designated periods of time? If they were to be building these healthcare centers, if they were to be building these home shelters and accommodate these dogs. Okay, I'm also being joined by Vinay Pathak. Vinay, what is your view on this? Okay, I don't think Vinay Patel can hear me, but I'm coming back to you, Ashwini. So, situations such as this, how should the issue be resolved?
It would be resolved, Mega. Give me please uninterrupted 50-second, Mega. Why dog shelters are required? It is not only that it is creating menace to avoid the traffic accident, to people sometimes cruelty, so they will be in a safer place. There will not be lack of food and water. These dog lovers may go there, will meet the dogs and feed them. They will get enough dogs to feed. The diseases and infection can be cured there. Here you see the dogs are abandoned. Only the dog lovers are caring about feeding them with their leftover food. Exposure to extreme weather conditions. And now fifth and very important candid question, Megha, you have asked. Problem would be resolved if dogs would be taken to these stray dogs would be taken to the dog shelters. You know, the growing tendency of the India has an estimated population of over 30 million stray dogs, and that is why it is required that there is a proper rules ABC rules implemented in true letter and spirit. ABC rule, Megha, will not be implemented next to your house or next to my house. It will be implemented when dogs will be kept at a different place. And now the two set of this judgment or the order passed day before yesterday have nowhere said that any cruelty should be committed to the dogs. That was the growing concern about the menace and also the neglect. The dogs were being neglected, and those dog lovers are only coming and concerned about the feeding next to your house. There was no dialogue in between the RWA and them. And what happens? The dog lover comes from 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers away and will put a food next to my house. So how they have become the stakeholders in deciding a designated place? That is also a question. And when we have an RWA, the next 100, 400, 300, 400, 500 houses have one RWA. Fifth is, the important point is that there should not be any cruelty to the animals, and that would only be possible if proper care duly taken care of. And that will be taken care when the municipal authorities, as per the directions of Honorable Supreme Court, will take them to the shelters home and will take care of them. And then only I think the problem will be solved. There is no problem at all. Two courts, Honorable Court can decide it, but Honorable Court never said कि आप भैया कटवा करके humanity के ऊपर आप dog love को prevail करिए. It is not the question. Honorable Supreme Court is concerned about the single death. Single death is important in the constitution, and the deaf children are dying. Mega, have you seen any dog lover condemning the death? वो कहते हैं बच्चों को संभालो, घर के बाहर.
I have something to say to this.
Yeah,
This
go
is
ahead,
what-
Sonali. Yes.
That is why I'm saying.
I don't think anyone here except me has gone through the medical records of the unfortunate device of Chavi. I have. And let me tell you, the death was not confirmed rabies. It was not. And I say that with a certain amount of responsibility. This is an unfortunate case of misreporting. I have the medical records with me. The only way a rabies case in a dog or in a human can be diagnosed to 100% is a brain biopsy. There was no post-mortem conducted on Chavi. It is a statement made by her own family. How are we standing
Fair
here
enough,
today
but are
saying
we
she died
waiting?
of
But are we
rabies?
waiting for a child to die from a dog bite or a dog attack, and then we are going to take action? But anyway, okay, all right. Yes, I have Amit Agarwal back on the telecast with me. Amit, yes, you want to make a point?
Yeah, I want to make a point that these points, singling out somebody is the wrong thing. It is the overall scenario of our children who are scared of dogs. There are children who are dog lovers. I'm not arguing that, but still, the dog lovers and this madam should not justify the things which is wrong. That is why the aggressive order is coming up, and because you have made hell out because of this AWB rule, ABC rule, whatever rule you are quoting, that rule are violated by your dog lovers, even pet owners. You tell me how many pet owners have registered in the MCD site. You will get only 2-3. There
Right.
are AWB rules which says you have to register if you are a dog feeder. How many have registered as a dog feeder.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, these are discrepancies,
should-
these are the lacunae, these are the loopholes, and yes, it has to be aggressive, strict action that needs to be taken within the system, within the local authorities. But again, you know, this I don't know, this issue was it so serious to have been made into such a big issue? Of course, with the Chief Justice of India now interceding in the matter, the case is going to be reopened, and we'll wait and watch as to what the final verdict is going to be. On that note, I slip into a short break. I thank all my panelists for joining me on the telecast. Thanks for watching Newsx.